Hi there. I am Brenda Bailey, and I'm your instructor for your 0900 class, your pre-algebra, and I wanted to go over the syllabus here real quick. So I'm in the getting started for your fall 26 drop-down box, and what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the syllabus just briefly, kind of give you some heads up on what's going to be in the class. You can always can download this. And now I will be in the Math Center on, well, here, let me start again up here. Instructor, my office is the Whitney Building 206. I would only be there by appointment only. This is my cell phone. Feel free to text me if ever you need anything. Email, you can always email me. Our class is online and it's asynchronous. Asynchronous means that we will not meet as a class, but you work on your own. And I've published some videos for each of the sections that you watch the videos if you want to, and then you can look at the homework. And I'll be explaining the videos, the instructional videos, uh, in another video in Welcome to Class. Now, my office hours, I'm in the Math Center, which is on the second floor of the Whitney Building, on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 10 a.m. Now, if this does not work for you, then you can make an appointment. We can meet on Zoom or we can meet at another time on the campus of Sheridan. Or, like I say, we can meet over Zoom. It works pretty well. This here is my Zoom link. If you need to meet with me on Zoom, that you can click here and get into my Zoom room. This right here, this is the YouTube channel for all of my lessons. This is using this right here is not the best link. I have other links in your Canvas modules that work a lot better than this one. So use the ones in the modules rather than this one here. Let's see, description, prerequisites, some of this stuff you guys can look at on your own. All right. The textbook in this class is optional. You don't really need the textbook, but what is required is a Pearson My Math Lab subscription. And you'll have to have, in order to do that, I have a course ID number. You'll need this course ID number if you ever need to contact support, if Pearson support. If you're having trouble logging in to Pearson or, any other, Pearson issues, they will ask for the course ID number, and that is that right there. And I do have detailed instructions for registering with Pearson in the Welcome to Class module and in your Canvas shell. And this is a requirement. You will have to pay for this online software. The textbook is embedded in this software. So you don't need to buy a textbook, but you do have to get your online subscription. If you are using scholarship or financial aid, you'll need to go through the bookstore and get an access code. Otherwise, I highly suggest that you watch the video in the Welcome to Class module, and I might be able to save you a little bit of money, all right, by going directly through Pearson. Okay, the purpose, let's see, just to kind of get you up to a level to take some of the college math classes. Grading 35% exams, 10% is your midterm, 10% for the final, 30% homework, and 15% for quizzes. The midterm and the final, I use video monitoring where Pearson uses your camera to watch you take the exam. You can always use a testing center if you don't want to use that video option. These exams over here done with a lockdown browser only, not with the video monitoring. But the midterm and the final are, it's a program called Respondus. And It's embedded in Pearson, and the first week I have you do a optional practice test to make sure that your computer will download Respondus. And once it's downloaded once, then you should be good for the rest of the semester. If it doesn't work, you'll either have to find a computer that does work with Respondus, or you'll have to go to math testing center of some sort in order to take them. Quizzes, you have 3 attempts on all your quizzes to get 100%. Homework, you can get 100% on each homework assignment, and I'll talk about that in another video on how to use Pearson. Percentages, 90, 80, 70, 60. And you need a 70% or above to move on to another level of math class. Let's see, all the homework, all the tests, the midterm, and the final are all in Pearson. That means that your grades are found in Pearson. And in the Pearson video on how to use Pearson, I go through where to find your grade. Your grade is not in Canvas. I do not use the Canvas grade book, only the Pearson grade book. So kind of keep that in mind. Let's see. Tests, 100 points. Midterm and final, each 10% of your grade. If you have any grading disputes, if you have any questions about a grade, Pearson marked something wrong you thought should be right, please contact me. And chances are you could be right, and I can give you the credit for that. These are the competencies that we'll be discussing in the class. These are the required competencies. We may do a few extra things, but these are the minimum competencies that we will cover. Once again, exams, homework. Yeah, exams was 30%. I have to make sure yeah, homework was 30%. I make sure I didn't transpose those wrong. And again, one other thing, if you decide not to do any of the homework, you're missing 30% of your grade. So the best you can get is a 70% in the class. And that's if you get 100% in all these other ones. So it's important that you do each of these categories in order to earn the highest percentage possible. So some people want to forego homework, and that's, 70%. You'll barely make it if you get 100% on everything. All right, so just, do the homework, do the exams, do all of these requirements, and you'll be fine. On each of the exams, I give you 2 chances on each of these exams. And Pearson will take the best of your exams. You're not docked for taking it again. So I really want you to learn from mistakes, which we usually do. And if you take an exam and you bomb it, contact me. We'll go through it problem by problem and then take it again for a higher score. I do not deduct any points on late exams. However, homework and quizzes are deducted 10% after the due date. 10% is not a lot. So rather than getting a 10 out of 10 on a homework, you'll get a 9 out of 10. So a 9 out of 10 is still an A. It's still worth doing even after the due date. Same with quizzes. And exams, if you miss an exam, usually they're due Sunday night. Take it Monday. I'm not going to deduct anything. That's fine. So, all righty. And then I won't deduct any percentages for a late midterm. But and I explain this in one of the drop-down boxes in the Welcome to Class module, exactly how I handle late exams and a late midterm. Okay, you can kind of read through these. This right here is a tentative course outline. What we'll do is the first 3 weeks, we'll get used to Pearson. We'll do chapters 1 and 2 these first 3 weeks, and then you'll have an exam over both of those chapters. And then weeks 4 and 5, we'll do chapters 3 and 4. So we'll have 2 chapters per exam for a while until you get to weeks 8 and 9, where we'll have just 1 chapter per exam. It just gets a little bit more difficult. And so I kept those as just 1 chapter for 2 weeks. And especially when we get into the algebra stuff, sometimes people have struggle with that. So I gave you a little extra time with these with the algebra stuff. Okay. Well, that's just kind of a quick overview of your syllabus. And again, I have some other videos in the welcome to class that I really, really encourage you to watch. All righty. Well, thank you and welcome to the class.